Yo, what's going on, boys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Sneak 2 video. And in today's video, we're going to be starting to take a look at the Rite of the 9 updated weapons. And today we're going to be starting one of my favorite ones, the Stasis sidearm, the Liminal Vigil. And this one got quite a perk update, and it's definitely going to be a fantastic weapon for the Crucible specifically. It does have some PvE applications, it has some okay PvE perks, but it's definitely going to be more of a Crucible sidearm, so if you love sidearms, you'll definitely want to keep an eye on this one. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at how to get the weapon, what are some of the updated perks in the perk pool, and also what are the perks that you should be looking for if you're looking for the god roll on this weapon, whether it's for PvP or PvE. We're going to talk about both of them. And lastly, at the end, we'll have a mini review where we talk about the things that I like or dislike about the weapon, and if I think this one's actually better or worse than the previous version of the weapon, and a bit of a spoiler, but I definitely think that it's better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you do, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already, as well as follow me on Twitch. We've been streaming a lot over there, so I'd love to see you over there as well. And first, let's talk about how to actually get this weapon. And you're going to be able to get this weapon from the Rite 9 version of the Spire dungeon. And you're going to be able to get this weapon in any single difficulty, whether it's Explorer, whether it's Ultimatum. As long as you're doing that version of the dungeon, you'll have a chance of getting the new Luminal Vigil. Now there are going to be different versions of this weapon, so the higher difficulty that you go in, the rarer the weapon that you're going to get. I got this one from Rain Ultimatum, and it has this really cool look to it, as well as having double perks, and also just being master whip right out the bat. But you don't really have to complete a specific version. As long as you get in there, you'll be able to get this new version of the weapon with the new rolls. Now this weapon has two different origin traits. The original one, Ted's Balanced Stock. Whenever you damage targets while hit firing, it will increase the reload speed, handling, and movement speed whenever you aim down sights. And it also has the brand new origin trait, Gravity Well, meaning that every time that you reload this weapon, it automatically gathers nearby ammo. So if there's any heavy or is there any special around, you're basically just going to be grabbing it every time that you reload the weapon. So I definitely like this new perk, and I actually found it to be a lot more useful than I originally thought. Now let's move on and let's actually take a look at this updated perk pool, since I know that's probably what you guys are wondering. We're going to be having a quick overview of all the perks that are in the pool, and then afterwards we'll go a little bit more in depth into some of the best PvP and PvE choices. And at the very end we'll go over some god roll suggestions so you guys have an idea of what to look for. So anyways, let's get into it, and first let's start with the very first stray perk. So these are going to be the options that we're going to have for the very first stray perk. We're going to have Lone Wolf, Headstone, Attrition Orbs, Tap the Trigger, Enlighten Action, and Perpetual Motion. And we're going to have a ton of options we can actually possibly use here, but let's first start with PvE since we have the least amount of options. Now for PvE, I would say your best bet is either going to be Headstone or Attrition Orbs. Headstone's basically an amazing perk on pretty much any stasis weapon. It gives you a bit of extra damage, it gives you a bit of extra ad clear, it gives some synergy with the class itself, with crystals, and it also has some synergy with Rhyme Stealer, which is also another perk that you can also get on this weapon. So Headstone is actually going to be probably the best one you can get on this weapon, and if you're going to be taking this on your stasis build, it's pretty much the only pick that you want to look for. Now Attrition Orbs is going to be an okay perk, as you do some damage to create some extra orbs, and this can be pretty good, especially on a sidearm where you're always kind of up close, so you have a very easy time just picking up all the orbs. But I just don't think it's going to be as good as Headstone, especially because of everything that Headstone provides you. Even when you're not on a stasis class, Headstone is just a fantastic perk and is amazing for PvE. Now when it comes to the Crucible, we have a couple different choices, but without a doubt, I think my top two are going to be either Lone Wolf or Tap the Trigger. Now Tap the Trigger is essentially what you want if you want to just have as much stability as you can on this weapon. Every time that you pull the trigger, it's going to increase your accuracy and stability, just making the weapon feel a lot better and a lot more accurate. And since there's a burst fire weapon, it means that every time we pull the trigger, basically every burst, we always have that increased accuracy and stability, just constantly refreshing the buff and basically always taking advantage of this perk. There won't be a shot that doesn't have Tap the Trigger active, making this thing super accurate. So if you want just stability and accuracy, Tap the Trigger is going to be your best bet. Now Lone Wolf is also going to be a really good choice. You don't get all the stability from it, but you are going to get aim assist, aim down sight speed, as well as some airborne effectiveness. All stats that are pretty good on this weapon. And while Lone Wolf did get nerfs, it's not as strong as it used to be, I think that is still a pretty good perk, and it can definitely put up a fight against Tap the Trigger. I think that the trigger in the end just wins out just because of the amount of uptime you have with it. But both of these are both going to be fantastic perks. Another decent one can be perpetual motion, which again gives us stability, but also gives you a better handling and reload speed. The problem with this one is that it just kind of pales in comparison to like tap the trigger, especially with that stability gain. It's just not going to feel as good as tap the trigger. So just go for tap the trigger or lone wolf in the slot, and those are going to be the best perks. Now moving on to the second slot, these are going to be our options. We have Rhyme Stealer, Kill Clip, To the Pain, Desperado, Rangefinder, and lastly Desperate Measures. And again, we're going to be starting off with PvE, and the main two you want to look for are going to be Desperate Measures or Rhyme Stealer. Rhyme Stealer, of course, has some really good synergy with Headstone. Every time that you destroy a crystal, you're going to get some Frost Armor. This is going to give you a very consistent way of getting Frost Armor in PvE, meaning that you always are just constantly getting damage resistance. And if you pair this up on a stasis build, it basically gives you damage resistance all the time. It is crazy the amount of uptime you're going to have with it, but even without being on a stasis build, it still gives you a bit of extra damage assist to make you tankier. Rhyme Stealer essentially always pairs up really well with Headstone, but it basically only pairs up with Headstone. It's not really going to be good with any of the other perks. Now you could also go for Desperate Measures, which is going to give you a pretty consistent damage buff. Whenever you get some kills with your weapon, you get a 10% damage buff, and whenever you get a grenade or melee kill, you get a 20% damage buff, and you can stack those on top of each other to get a 30% damage buff, and they last for a pretty long time, 7 seconds. So you actually have a lot of uptime on this perk, and because it activates with both ability kills and weapon kills, it basically means that you're always going to have a buff on this weapon, and a lot of times you can actually stack this very easily 3 and just run around with that 30% damage buff pretty easily. If you're just looking to get a bit more damage in your sidearm, this is going to be the best bet because it's just super easy to keep up. It doesn't require a reload or anything like that. It's just always extra damage. Even on Crucible, the Desperate Measures can be pretty okay, but I don't think it can keep up with some of the other options we're going to have for the Crucible. And speaking about those options, let's take a look at them, because we definitely have quite a few, but the ones that I think all of you guys are going to be going for, and the ones that I definitely was looking for in this weapon, were basically things that decrease my TTK, and luckily here we have both Kill Clip and Desperado. Now both of these perks are kind of similar, they both increase your TTK, and they both require a kill. But Desperado does require a headshot, while Kill Clip can just be any kill. This is one of those times where the damage buff just kind of works out better in the favor of Kill Clip. Overall, Kill Clip is just the superior perk here. Not only does it drop your TTK to a lower amount, being able to burst people with 3 headshots and 1 body shot, meaning that it's fairly easy to hit that optimal TTK, but it's also a lot easier to proc since it doesn't require a headshot like Desperado. So if you want to go for something that increases your TTK, do not go for Desperado, go for Kill Clip. It's just overall going to be the better choice, and it's definitely going to have a bit more uptime than Desperado, while giving you even a bigger benefit. And having tried a Kill Clip one in the Crucible, this thing is dirty. You catch people off guard with it, and they just cannot do anything. You basically put them down before they really have a chance to fight back. When Kill Clip is active, you have a 0.47 TTK, less than half a second, so many things are gonna struggle to be able to actually fight you. And now let's move on and actually start talking about some god rolls. And first, again, let's start with PvE. So we're gonna have a couple of options here, and Rhyme Stealer plus Headstone is of course gonna be the number one, and the one that probably most of you guys are gonna be going for. It works great by itself, and it works even better with a stasis build. Now if you're going for Desperate Measures, you can again pair it with Headstone, or even something like Enlighten Action, so you can get some extra reload and also some handling. We're mostly going to be going for the extra reload, just so you can keep that Desperate Measures essentially going. Now for the Crucible, I recommend that you go for Tap the Trigger plus Kill Clip, or Lone Wolf plus Kill Clip. Either of those combinations are going to be fantastic. Kill Clip is just crazy, really crazy in the Crucible, and you guys are going to love it. So those are going to be rolls that I recommend that you guys go for, and the ones that I would be going for on this weapon. But let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think? What is the god roll that you guys are going to be going for? And also, just what do you think about this weapon? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are your thoughts on the new perk pool, if you have any? Just let me know that in the comments below. And now let's actually talk about what I feel about this weapon. And because this weapon leans a little more towards PvP, that's where I pretty much put most of my time in. And I gotta say, this thing can definitely put in work. A lot of times, even without kill clip, you catch people off guard so easily, and they're just dead before they can even actually respond to you. It actually feels a lot more stable than I expected, even without tap the trigger. I actually didn't have tap the trigger on any of mine, but I did have lone wolf kill clip. That's what you've been seeing in the background, and it feels pretty good. It is actually just really stable just right out the bat, that you're gonna have a very fun time with it. And then once you start proccing some kill clip, that's when the fun really starts. Being able to get those very consistent 2 bursts is just amazing. 3 headshots on the body for just killing somebody with a sidearm, it is just craziness. I actually hadn't used a sidearm like this for a while, and I'm really wondering why, because they're really fun, especially like I said, once you get some of that kill clip going, you can use chain kills just constantly, or even take on multiple people because you do use so much damage and can kill people so fast. So this one definitely gets my seal of approval for Crucible, and if you like sidearms, you're definitely gonna like this one. Now for PvE, I know a lot of people don't really use sidearms, but I think this one's gonna do pretty okay. Like I said, we don't really have as many choices when it comes to like PvE, but I think that it's gonna be really good, especially if you're on that stasis. Overall, I really think that this weapon got better and definitely benefited from the perk refresh. It is 100% just a better weapon now. So definitely be on the lookout for some good rolls, especially if you get anything with kill clip. But with that, we're gonna end today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already. Like I said before, let me know what you guys think about this weapon, or what are some of the rolls that you got in recently, just so I can know what everyone's kind of been getting. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.